In 1967, Soviet Premier Brezhnev said, "Marxist-Leninists have always understood that socialism cannot be implanted by one country into another by military force, that it is the product of the internal development of a given society." Brezhnev's predecessor, Nikita Khrushchev, was even more explicit when he said, "I am convinced that tomorrow the red flag will fly over the United States, but we will not fly the flag. It will be the American people themselves." The historical record is clear. The prime directive of communist strategy is conquest, and most important lesson to be learned is that at the time of takeover, the actual number of communists in any country is usually less than 3%, and in many cases, such as the Soviet Union itself, it has been less than 1% of the total population. The place to begin this inquiry, therefore, is to examine the strategy by which a tiny minority can capture control of an existing government. The success of this strategy has been largely the result of two factors working together. One is the mobilization of mass action among the non-communist population, demonstrations, general strikes, or insurrection. The other is the paralysis of the target government, the inability to fight back effectively, indecision, delays, blunders. It's not surprising, therefore, to learn that a major part of communist strategy is devoted to techniques for creating exactly these two conditions: mobilization of the masses and paralysis of the government. It's important to realize that the Open Communist Party, which offers candidates for public office, is not the real organizational force of the movement. It is merely one of the multitude of surface organizations designed to lead the masses. In some countries, such as France and Italy, where communism is viewed merely as a popular political movement, this may be a major channel of mass influence. But in countries such as West Germany, England, or the United States, where the communist label is not popular, it is through the other surface organizations that the underground seeks control of the masses, while the visible communist apparatus serves as a decoy to lull the electorate into believing that the movement is small and harmless. Manipulation of the public is an important part of communist strategy, but the second and equally important objective is paralysis of the target government. For this to be accomplished, it is necessary for the underground to infiltrate into the government itself. Let us turn now to an actual event to see how these people and organizations have been able to achieve their objective. Frank Wilkinson is one of the first organizers to arrive on the scene.
Anything to do with the demonstrations in front of the City Hall today?
No, I've just been an observer of those.
I understand.
Wilkinson and other members of the Soviet apparatus in California formulate a four-point strategy for attack against the committee. First, they will generate public opposition to the hearing. Secondly, they will pack the hearing room with people who are hostile to the committee, drawing heavily upon radicalized students from the university. Third, they will disrupt the hearing with tactics of open defiance, forcing the police to use crowd control measures to reestablish order. Fourth, they will treat the utilizing news coverage of the action as evidence that repressive measures are used against innocent protesters. The packing of the hearing room comes off exactly as planned. The handful crowd that comes not to listen, but to protest. When the room is filled to capacity and hundreds are turned away, communist agitators seize upon this as a propaganda device to disrupt the meeting. From left to right, we see Ralph Izard, Archie Brown, Sally Etarian Sweet, and Saul Wachter.
Open the doors! Open the doors! What are you hiding? What are you hiding? We have nothing to hide. What are you hiding? Let the people live out here. We want America. Then get out, you want America. That's what you should do. Pack up and get out. You are. Open the doors. Here comes the goose squad. This is Americanism. Watch this Americanism in action. Oh, watch this Americanism in action. Watch this Americanism. By noon of the second day, the unruly crowd has grown to such proportions that it now blocks access to other rooms in the City Hall.
and the jeering and chanting interfere with proceedings in courtrooms on the third floor. It is inevitable that the judges are compelled to register official complaints with the police, who now have no choice but to ask the demonstrators to leave. Taking orders from their leaders, the crowd refuses to budge, even in the face of fire hoses. The result is a media event of great proportions, as the protesters are unceremoniously removed, one by one. The final phase of the strategy, as you recall, was to force the police into using crowd control measures, which then could be offered as evidence of alleged police state brutality against innocent and peaceful demonstrators.